Good morning. I want to show you how to make a heart template so that you can make a mold. I'm doing this for VBS, but I wanted to share with anyone who wants to make a heart. So I'll show you. What you will need is cardboard that is at least 17 inches wide, and that is where the little ridges go across it, cross counter. And then you will also need one that is at least 15 inches long that has the ribs going the same direction as what you're going to cut, because this will be for the bottom of the heart and this will be for doing the rounded part. So it's very important you get the right. So the grain needs to be going, you need to go with the grain, and then you pick a box that has a crease, you know, like where there's whatever. And so you find that that will be the middle for the bottom of your heart. So that you will need to have, this is a pretty big heart, about 9 inches. So you'll need 15 inches long, and that is 7.5 on each side of the fold, so that you have that. And I'm going to make it a lot thinner, so I'm going to show you how to cut that. And then for the top of the heart, you need it to be 17 inches long for this size heart. And again, it has to go across the grain. So you see the little ribs. You want those ribs, you're going to go across them, because that will make it a lot easier to bend. So I have cut a bunch, but I'm going to cut it here just for demonstration purposes. I tried doing 3 at a time. It does not work, but you can do 2 pieces of cardboard at the same time, depending on how thick it's really nice to have a cutting board because you don't want to cut through something. If you don't have one, you can use some extra cardboard. I really wouldn't trust that, because that you can go right through, or a piece of wood, whatever you don't care about that's solid. And then if you do have one of these T rulers that are metal, that is best. And then you'll need an X-Acto knife. So I'm just going to cut through, pressing against the ruler. And it takes several times. You want it to just pop off, because you don't want to crush the cardboard. And the biggest part is the end. You kind of have to probably back off a little bit so you can cut all the way through. See, so I have, with that one, I got 4 at the bottom, and then I'm going to cut 1 for the top. What I already pre-cut them the right length that I wanted. I found some boxes that worked for that. If you can't find a box long enough, you can tape more than 1 piece together, but it's definitely easier if you can get one that's just long enough. Too long is easier than not long enough, but you can always, again, I'm going to push against the metal ruler and just keep going through. This will cut through your blades, dull them very quickly, so it's nice to have several blades so you can change them. So again, I got 2 in 1. The other thing that you will need, doesn't have to be exact, but you will need another piece of cardboard about the same width that is at least 4.5 inches long. And then 2 little ones, at least 2 inches, or actually even an inch, 1.5 inches, actually 1.5 inches, 2 of those for the side of the heart. So once you have the 2 pieces on the side, the one for the top and the one for the bottom, then you're ready to make your heart. So the one that has the cross here you can see, if I do it the right angle, you can see that it is cross counter. So you're going to bend it first, because you're going to take advantage that you're going across to make it bend. So you're going to just use all those little bendies to help it, because you want a nice flowy heart. So once you've bent it really good and make sure every part is bent as much as possible, it'll naturally bend when you push on it. So it should be like this. Then you're going to put the two ends together and then fold it in the middle. This is really important if you want an even heart. And then you can just mark that. If you have a permanent marker, it's probably easier, but you want to mark the middle so that you make sure you know where the middle is, because that will be crucial. Then this one, again, it has a fold, it's in the middle. So you're going to take the two and butt them together. You do not want them overlapping, because if you're going to want to make a mold, it's going to show up any overlapping. So this is, so I take a piece of tape. I'm just using regular packing tape. You don't need anything fancy. This is a mold for using with plaster of Paris. So we will have to cover the whole entire piece of cardboard with the packing tape to make it waterproof. But see, you want it even. And the way you reinforce that is on the outside. Then you will put another piece of cardboard. That's why you just needed a small piece to reinforce it. But you only want that on the outside. You do not want that on the inside of the mold. So whatever side you decide is going to be the inside, you want it smooth. So that way you have a reinforcement there, and you will turn it around. Do the same on the other side. So that you have one continuous piece of cardboard, as you are wanting to make the heart template. It will start to make sense in a minute. It doesn't look like much yet, but I'm so thankful that my husband was like, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because when I was trying to figure out how to do it, I wasn't too sure. So God is good. Been praying and asking for help, and I'm through. I tried to find stuff on YouTube and I really didn't find anything. So not what I wanted anyway. I'm sure there's something great that I missed, but that's okay. So again, I'm reinforcing the sides because we don't want it popping undone. So that's nice and strong. So then you have the whole solid piece. Then you're going to take that where you found the center and bring it in to make the heart. Now it still looks like a funky heart, but the way you're going to make the bend stay up here, this was my husband's idea. I would have never thought of it. So praise God for husbands with good ideas, is you put this here. And if you can't get it to stay, oh, I forgot. You can use clothespins, work great. In place, but I forgot them, so I'm not going to go and stop this and start over. It's too much trouble. So I put some tape on here, and I'm going to put it about the ways. Then I'm going to push this. I guess I'm going to bring it out a little bit more, depending on how much of a heart shape you want. Then I'll get another piece. I'm going to push it to the point where I want it, and then I'm going to tape it. And that way that will keep the heart pointy part up at the top. Now it still doesn't have the shape we want, so we will work on that. But at least it's starting to have a heart shape. So it's kind of a work in progress. And again, it's going to depend on how fat you want your heart. If you want it nice and skinny. And then where you did the reinforcement, you're going to have to bend that a little bit to bring it out. And it just messes up with the bendy part. So that it will start to make more of a heart shape. Again, if you want it nice and fat, you can do that, and you can bring some piece of cardboard or something to settle that. Or if you want it narrower, if you want to leave it so that you put it, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make a layer of clay or Play-Doh, roll it out, and then I'm going to put this in there so then I can kind of shape it the way I want. But first you have to cover this whole thing. And especially on the inside with the packing tape, because if not, it will be a disaster when you try to use it with the plaster of Paris. So you have to cover the whole thing, you have to cover the ends and everything. So it's a bit of work. But it's worth it. It's not that hard. And again, if you wanted exactly the right shape, you could cut out a cardboard heart and put it on the bottom and then tape it to that and make it solid, you know. But because of what I'm going to be using it for, I do not want that. So I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. And that way your heart could be the exact shape you want. But I'm wanting to make a print where we can make an impression at the bottom. And that way when we fill it with the plaster of Paris, it will have that imprint. So you just keep taping all the way around until everything is solid. Oh, I forgot. I'm doing this backwards, but you can learn. You can learn from my mistakes. To have the bottom sealed. So it's best to do the bottom first and then do the inside, because then that covers that seam so that the plaster of Paris can't seep through. So I'll have to do this again, but you get the idea. Now when you go around the edge here, you're going to have trouble. So what you're going to have to do is cut it. Forgot my scissors. Thank you, honey. So just cut it like that. And that way you can bend it over. And it's not going to be 100%, but if you want it 100%, then you just do it again and just make sure that the cuts are not at the same spot. Hence, if you're going to be using this over and over or just once. So you get the idea. So you're going to cover the whole thing with packing tape so that when you use it for a mold, if you're using it for the plaster of Paris, it won't get wet. So there's you a heart mold that you can make from recycled materials. Won't cost you an arm and a leg. All you need is an X-Acto knife and the ruler, packing tape, something to cut on, and some cardboard. So I hope that helps you with your projects. And for those doing the Vacation Bible School, the Family of Love, I hope you enjoy making these so that you will be ready for your craft, for one of your crafts during VBS, and the kids will get to be able to make that craft to encourage them to remember that God is a family of love. So God bless you and see you next time.